This is an overview of the game Illeria. Illeria is a fantasy miniatures wargame. To play, you buy the rules and then provide your own miniatures, terrain, dice, and other materials. It takes place on the desert island of Illeria, a defunct penal colony and former magical research station. You control a party of 5 former prisoners and battle other parties for the resources to survive and escape. Each round, players take turns activating one of their characters and go back and forth until every character is activated. When activated, a character will move and perform one action, such as make a melee attack, cast a spell, or pick up an object. Most battles are won by controlling objectives rather than annihilating your opponent. Games last 7 to 10 turns and take around 90 minutes. Illeria's most unique element is that instead of taking place on one battlefield, fights take place on 2, the real world and the spirit world. Those boards are separate, but they interact. Every character in Illeria is represented by 2 models, a body in the real world and a spirit in the spirit world. These models are linked in several ways. First, they can share powers. A character's spirit starts the game with their full set of magical abilities, but their body does not. However, actions during the game can allow the body to gain the spirit's power. Second, a character can spend their actions in one world to boost themselves in the other world. This includes giving bonuses to dice rolls, boosting movement, or bringing a dead spirit back to life. Third, if a spirit dies, its body becomes disoriented, and if a body dies, its spirit's health slowly drains away. Last, several abilities transfer effects from one model to the other. For example, a character struck by a demon will become disoriented in both worlds. Illeria doesn't group parties by factions or species. Instead, parties differ because each party can have characters from only 2 of the 6 character classes. The character classes are Fighters, Mystics, Spellcasters, Archers, Summoners, and Animators, and each plays quite differently. Fighters have special melee attacks that deal extra damage or disable enemies. Mystics have passive abilities, such as magical shields or auras. Archers and Spellcasters are the 2 classes with ranged attacks. Spellcasters cast spells. These are very flexible. However, each time they cast a spell, they must take a spell check, and if they fail, something bad happens. Also, each time they cast a spell, it makes them more likely to fail their check in the future. Archers can make ranged attacks. These attacks are less flexible than spells, but more reliable. Summoners and Animators allow you to bring additional creatures onto the table. Summoners call swarms of creatures to the battlefield. These creatures begin under control of their summoner. However, every turn, the summoner has a chance of losing control of those creatures, at which point they flee or run amok. Animators begin the game with animated creatures on the battlefield. Animators can never lose control of their creatures, but those creatures shut down if the animators lose their magic. Illeria can be purchased as a PDF or print-on-demand book using the links below. Free demo rules are available to get you started, and the full game includes additional abilities and scenarios, along with rules for a campaign. Happy wargaming!